One of the very, very few good things about living in Washington, we recently relocated the show here, is the National Mall. Lincoln Memorial on one side, the Capitol on the other, the White House and Jefferson north and south on the mall. It is a beautiful place any time of year. There's the World War II Memorial in a circle to remind us of all the states sacrificing. The Vietnam War Memorial cut out of the ground to remind us of the deep scar that war left. The Korean War Memorial shows an infantry platoon on patrol in the cold, wet misery of the 1950s. But soon, very soon in fact, our National Mall will have a memorial to fallen journalists. And I'm not kidding here. There's a group of journalists so self-important, they think that we need a monument in Washington to ourselves. There was a place called the Newseum, a museum about the news. It went out of business here in Washington because nobody really cared enough about the history of the news. And that's the way it should be. Journalists shouldn't be the story or the focus of attention, even though so many today want to be. On your next visit to Washington, there is going to be a statue of some guy with a typewriter. I say this having spent 4 years as a foreign correspondent. I know what it's like to lose friends and colleagues on assignment in dangerous places. It is important work, what journalists do. There's a reason it is protected in the First Amendment. A Russian artillery round killed my good friend and longtime cameraman Pierre Zakrzewski in Ukraine last year. Think about Ernie Pyle, though, who brought World War II back home with dispatches from the battlefields of Europe and then the islands of the Pacific. He died in Okinawa. At the time, President Truman said of Pyle, "No man in this war has so well told the story of the American fighting man as American fighting men wanted it told. He deserves the gratitude of all of his countrymen." Gratitude, yes. Monuments, no. Pyle and Pierre knew they weren't the story. Pierre actually taught me that. Now journalists want to be the story. They want to be some type of martyrs, and they want to be celebrated, a la the White House Correspondents' Dinner last weekend. They kind of think of themselves as celebrities. They want to hobnob in their black tie and gowns, telling each other how important they are. It's awfully hard to imagine Ernie Pyle at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Of all people, President Trump signed the Fallen Journalist Memorial Act back in 2020 that allows building a statue on the mall. That's surprising. Trump, of all people who journalists hated, wanted to remember and honor them. Of course, everybody in the White House briefing room thinks they are worthy of combat pay. They are there doing the hard work of the First Amendment. They certainly want a memorial to themselves. They have one on Pebble Beach. That's the area on the north lawn of the White House you do your live shots from. They also throw a gala for themselves every year. But when I think about Ernie Pyle, he doesn't need a memorial. His memorial, Pierre's memorial, and others who have died in dangerous places, their memorial is their work. It's the stories they tell, the lives that they've changed. In a weird way, a statue only cheapens that. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.